in options markets, what's very important is to know what the big flows are. What are the market makers getting put into? What are the positions they're taking on? What's the smart money doing in terms of options? And that gives us some kind of idea of what may transpire in the future. And it's not to say these smart money, hedge fundy type players are always right, but they're not stupid, right? These guys, like myself, have been around in the options space for a long time. They know how to use options professionally. And if they're going to go and commit a load of capital to a big trade in options, they've probably thought it through, and it may well have an impact on markets, basically. So that's just something you want to be aware of. And I track these flows. That obviously paradigm is where a lot of these flows go through in terms of big blocks. So I check the paradigm flows that go through. I check what we see. Again, it's all Amber data that's providing this data in one place. I go through those flows and I highlight all the big flows that I see that I think are worth noting. And that kind of gives you guys a quick feel for what are the smart money doing? Do I agree with them? Do I not agree with them? Is it a fade or is it a follow, basically? And a lot of the time, you want to, when they first start getting into trades, you probably do want to follow the smart money. And then at some point when it pushes it too far, maybe you want to fade the smart money. So this is what, again, I'm doing. I'm watching it. I'm seeing what they're up to. I'm rationalizing whether it makes sense or not. And if it does make sense, often I'll do similar trades myself. And if I think it doesn't make a ton of sense and it pushes the curve a lot, then sometimes I'll step in and fade that as well. I have been known to do that. In fact, the thing that springs to mind when I did that was Ethereum, when our good friend at Real Vision started saying that Ethereum was going to go to the moon, like 15,000 or whatever. And there was a lot of calls that were bought in Ethereum, like 6-month calls, and it took the curve. It just took the curve completely out of whack from where it would normally trade. It was just flow driven, really, really, didn't make a ton of sense to me in terms of where it was taking the surface. And I was able to then do some vol stuff where I would buy the short end vol, sell that expensive vol, set up a really nice position that even if it was bullish in terms of the move, I had a more efficient option trade that was going to do really well off that, take advantage of the really expensive vol from those trades that hit the street, that basically distorted the vol surface. So those are sort of things you can do if you understand what's going on there, like I do. Okay, so that's the flows section where we show flows on Ethereum and Bitcoin, and then we also have this gamma monitor. So Amber Data have got a proprietary model where they look at every single trade that prints and they determine who the aggressor is, and that basically feeds into their GEX model, which tells us whether dealers are long or short. And then they also show us what maturities and strikes that is derived from. So we have a decent chart here where we have the net gamma exposure in millions of dollars. That gives us a feel for if it's long or short. So I've got the flat blue line there is the zero line. So if we're materially below it, we're in short territory, or above it, we're in long territory. And then that is likely to impact realized vol potentially if the street is very long or short. This kind of tells us what the big strikes are that gamma position is made up of, so we can get a feel for how that's going to change if spot moves up or down. Because if that's got like a massive long strike on the upside but a short strike on the downside, then moving up is going to take us towards long gamma, and moving down is going to take us towards short gamma, because these gamma positions are dynamic, right? You see they're swinging around up and down. So this gives you a clue as to which way they're going to go if the market goes up or down. So that's why we monitor those, and we give a summary on what's happening and what we think, what we think the impact of that is, and if it really matters or not on a week-on-week basis.